Welcome back to the program. Let's get some more analysis now on the Prime Minister's visit to China. And joining me live in the studio is Senior Analyst in Defence Strategy at the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, Dr. Euan Graham. Thank you very much for your time, Euan. What do you make of the visit by the Prime Minister this week to China? Has it been a success?
Well, at a basic level, it's a very long visit. I can't think of anything that parallels this in recent diplomatic history. So that's a big stamp on the importance of China from the Australian government's perspective. I think you can cut it two ways. One, the economic merits and the diplomatic merits. The economic merits, there will be deals signed for sure. My question is this the time to double down on China? Because China, in economic terms, is not going to be the leading demand partner that it has been for decades. It's on the decline, so we need to be diversifying and looking for other markets now. So it seems like a short-term play in economic terms. And then geopolitically, there seems to be a bit of amnesia that we've only just come out of a coercion campaign that ran for several years during COVID, only ceased last year. To me, you could say that investing in the economic relationship with China is at risk of investing in our future vulnerability, because that coercion is very likely to come back sooner, if not later.
How will the visit, the warmth of it, and everything associated with this lengthy visit be received by others in the region? I'm thinking countries like Singapore, Japan, allies of Australia. In fact, some involved right now this week in the military exercise Talisman Sabre. So while the diplomatic side is happening, the military approach and planning and exercises continue.
And that may not be a coincidence. I wouldn't put it past the Chinese to actually schedule this visit to point out that contrast in a way that's embarrassing, because it shows the Prime Minister putting China first at the same time when we've got our large-scale exercises going on with Washington. But putting that to one side, you raise a very good question. Everyone's focused on the US. No one's talking about how Japan will react to this. Japan are a very significant economic partner. The Prime Minister is in Northeast Asia. This is a freestanding visit, 6 days. He's not going anywhere else. He will go back to the region again for APEC later this year. But the fact that there's no side visit to Japan demonstrates that there's no diplomatic balancing. It's all eggs in one basket. And our defence and security relationship, as well as the economic relationship with Japan, is rapidly deepening. So that's another pointed contrast.
The Prime Minister might, reassure Japan by saying the Quad is coming up. They're going to be in India together. The Indian, Japanese, you presume the US leader and our Prime Minister. So he could reassure them, placate them in that sense.
I think that's the Australian viewpoint. It's all about sequencing. So they're doubling down on the China relationship now. There will be the exercises ongoing soon. The big question is, will there be a visit to Washington? That's the ultimate balancing that has to happen. You asked about the other Asian countries. Everyone is straddling this fence.
Well, that's the thing. How can we learn from the approach of nations like Singapore?
Yes and no. Their geography dictates a different set of interests. We are an ally of the United States. Singapore is not. So from the security viewpoint, our bread is buttered. And we look at that through a very different prism to Singapore, which is not an ally and which is able to try and benefit from both relationships. They're very practiced at doing that, but we're not in the same basket as them.
Now, we've touched on the US. How do you reflect on this visit as it happens? And we've mentioned Talisman Sabre, so parallel to the diplomacy is the military and strategic planning. And then also the backdrop is the ongoing uncertainty out of Washington. We don't know where our huge security partner, the great alliance that underpins our security, where that is going on things like AUKUS, on trade and beyond.
We hear different things from different people in the administration, and the US military, I think, will double down on Australia as a close partner. So the Talisman Sabre exercises are an important demonstration of that, plus the other partners that are there. But we have these questions being asked increasingly in Washington. What about defence spending? What about AUKUS? And in that context, I think Australia is still seen as an important ally, but a fickle one, and one that there is tension in that relationship.
Dr. Euan Graham from ASPI, thanks for your thoughts. Appreciate it.
Pleasure, welcome.